Welcome back to the second half of Part 6 of the Ophiel series. If you have not listened to the previous part with Ophiel's examples of people using creative visualization principles practically to obtain various things, then I recommend that you follow the link below and listen to that section first. The stories may seem antiquated or outdated, but that just shows how these are eternal principles and not new ideas. Learn the foundations instead of seeking novelty, and you will have a solid base to change your life. The best way to listen to these videos is to relax and let the information sink in, so that any previous programming of self-doubt, scarcity, limitation, lack can be replaced by a more expansive, positive and true view of yourself as the powerful spark of godhood that you really are. Then also, do the exercises and make them part of your daily practice. They serve to clear and expand your energetic field, to learn to focus your attention and visualize correctly, and to align yourself with the inner planes and tap into your source of infinite power. Ophiel then goes on to illustrate how these examples can be applied practically to our particular case, and explains the mistakes that students of manifestation often make in the beginning, and how we can recognize and work within our sphere of availability. Be sure to watch until the end for instructions on starting the process of crafting manifestation goals in a way that makes them most likely to succeed. Also like and subscribe if you find this content useful and to help others find it.
You think over all these stories and consider what was the most outstanding feature of these stories. What was the one deep thing they all had in common? Other than the obvious fact that they all got what they wanted through a visualization process, is not the hidden fact that the desired thing was within the normal, reasonable reach of the person? Or shall we not call all these things gotten by these people within their normal sphere of availability? These people did not ask for Rolls Royces, mansions, huge bags of gold pieces, and the moon with a fence around it, things nowhere near their present lives or way of living. No, the things they asked for were a small piece of carpet, a bottle of whiskey, a blonde, a hand punch, women's hats, things that are there now. My occult research has convinced me that the main reason why visualizations do not work for us all the time, as we want them to work, is that we ask amiss. That is, we do not get the things we want, not because God does not want us to have them, but because those things are not in our sphere of availability at the time. The truths of divine metaphysics are so grand and divine and sound so right that a new student, hearing and reading about them for the first time in his life, is greatly tempted to throw caution and reason out of the window and imagine that he can work miracles easily, especially after reading a few pages of a creative visualization book. The new student then proceeds to visualize for large things, big things, valuable things, things that are far beyond his ability, not to visualize, imagine, desire, but far beyond his present ability to demonstrate, visualize. And all this is especially so if a man has a champagne appetite with a beer income. Well, a champagne appetite with a beer income is no joke to the one who has it. To reinforce your understanding of the law of the sphere of availability, I am going back to the story of the young French ragpicker, and will compare his story with another story I will give. you will recall that the first thing the young ragpicker visualized for was a piece of carpet to protect his feet from the cold stone floor in the mornings. This young man had nothing but absolutely nothing. In his case, having nothing was a great blessing. He did not have something that he could have traded for a carpet. He did not have a little money, so he could have bought himself a piece of carpet. He had nothing. So, therefore, having no resources at all, he was able to decide on the piece of carpet as what he needed and wanted most, and to concentrate full on the creative visualization of this piece of carpet. And as the carpet came to him soon, through his work, it proved, among other things, that the carpet was within his sphere of availability. Now I will tell you another story. This story concerns a man who had a positive genius for running large department stores. He had a terrific ability to sell goods and to manage efficiently such a business. He was employed in a very large store, but not in the top capacity. The store being a family affair, the top jobs were held by family men who were content to use the man's ability without giving him the top responsibility and salary. Under these circumstances, this man was not able to move to the position he was entitled to, no matter how much he tried to get ahead where he was. This man came into contact with a metaphysical worker whom he allowed to do some work for him. And through this metaphysical work, he secured a position in one of the largest stores in the world, where he was soon at the very top spot and made a terrific success of everything he touched along his line. Now, I want you to think, do these two cases have anything in common? And if so, what is it? At first thought, there seems to be no connection between these two cases, but a closer look shows that they have one very important thing in common. Both of these people had the things desired, or as could be said, were ready for the thing desired, or creatively visualized for, in their sphere of availability. I will repeat, and you please read this over several times. The things the two men desired, and which were creatively visualized for, one doing the work himself, and the other having it done for him, but meaning the same thing. Those two different things were in their sphere of availability. In order to make absolutely clear what I am driving at, let us assume that the young ragpicker had, instead of visualizing for a piece of carpet, visualized for the top manager's job of the largest department store in Paris. Now, although everything taught about creative visualization is true, and the work is very powerful to bring us what we visualize for, quite common sense law of the physical plane will tell you that the young man would not get the job easily, or if he did get it, he could not hold it. Again, no matter how powerful the magical creative visualization work was, the fact remains that he was not fitted for the job. For this reason, and this reason only, the job is definitely not within his sphere of availability. It would not be the creative visualization work that would be at fault, but the complete lack of common sense and the complete lack of obedience to the laws of the physical plane. All the things that you know about the physical plane and its limitations are the laws of the physical plane, and certainly not the least of physical plane laws is the law that the young man must be fitted for that job. And if he was not fitted for the job, he could not do the work. Even if the creative visualization forces brought him the job. Or, to put it another way, we can say truthfully that before the creative visualization work could have brought him the job successfully, A tremendous amount of work would have to have been done first to have prepared him for the successful holding of such a job. And this kind of work would have taken no end of material time, no matter how you look at it. In the case of the young ragpicker, this amount of work is so large that he could not have got it done in one lifetime, considering the late start he had. Mr. Inglis speaks of people who visualized for things beyond their present sphere of availability and did not get the things until their next reincarnation on Earth. And at that time, they did not want the former things anymore, but wanted something else entirely different. And so life went on in a vicious circle. So now you can ask another natural question. How then did the creative visualization process work for the young man so when he passed on, he had many thousands of francs, and francs were francs in those days? Very important. Study the following very hard. What happened in his case was, as said before, the first successful demonstration so encouraged him and convinced him of the workability of creative visualization powers that he determined to practice this art for the rest of his life. The next thing he did was to select another thing object he wanted, which thing object happened to be in his sphere of availability. And when that thing was demonstrated, he went on to another and still another. Each successful demonstration added something material to his life and thus enlarged his sphere of availability. As the sphere of availability enlarged in size, other things formerly not possible became possible, or, as should be said, the sphere of availability increased in size until in full course of time and growth, endless, formerly impossible, things became easily available and were on hand almost automatically. For heaven's sake and your sake, listen to this over until you understand it completely and absolutely. The following subject matter is so important that I am going to risk boring you to tears and repeat it, some of it in another slightly different form. Please absorb it and successfully use it for your benefit. To sum up the foregoing case history, the young ragpicker, having no money or resource at all, and having decided to practice the art of creative visualization, picked out, with good common sense, an article he needed, viz., a piece of carpet. The young man did not do creative visualization work for a palace or 1,000,000 francs or for a yacht or for any of those other things that persons sometimes try. For the first time, they used the creative visualization process. Oh, yes, we are all guilty of this sort of thing. All the young man asked for was a simple thing that he really needed. A palace, for example, was not needed, and because this thing he wanted was within his sphere of availability, he got it in a relatively short time. Our lives are so constituted, so there is a big difference between what we really need now and what we would like to have or dream of having. Our lives are like a puzzle of many pieces that we must fit together ourselves, and only we can work out our lives. You must start to build up your life a piece at a time, and you must find out and decide what piece is to be next fitted into your pattern. You can dream about other things, but the first work you do should be for what you need next. The second step the young ragpicker took is equally important. He did not, upon completion of his first successful demonstration, then jump to palaces and millions of francs or other big things, but proceeded to select another object that he needed for his immediate comfort and well-being, and proceeded to demonstrate for and to secure that thing. Mr. Ingles does not tell in his book what the next article actually was. But I am assuming, from the nature of the first article selected, that it was something simple and necessary and very probably of the same nature as the piece of carpet. As said before, the young man continued this process for the rest of his life, and his life became a process of gradual growth and acquirement, the possibilities of further acquirement increasing with each new asset acquired as explained before. Now, what about you and I and our use of creative visualization? We should have a reasonable belief that the system does work if for no other reason than we use it wrongly all the time. Now, we want to use it right, so how do we, you and I, go about using it? Let us go back to the Ragpicker. Now, I do not want to use this system to get a piece of carpet. I do not need a piece of carpet. I have lots of pieces of carpets about me now. I have some extra money available so that I can buy many pieces of carpet if I want them. So, pieces of carpets are not my problem as it was to the Ragpicker. However, while I do have so many things now, I am not completely satisfied with what I now possess, and I do want to use this system of creative visualization to get the things, circumstances, situations, possessions of things that I would like to have or do want or think I want. On the other hand, from what I have found out about the sphere of availability, I do know that many of the big things that I would like to have are not in my sphere of availability, let's face it, at this time. Also, let us face the fact that we are dealing with definite planes of manifestations, each of which have definite laws, each law of which plane must be obeyed. And of course, the laws of the last plane, the physical plane of matter, and that plane is very hard to move, to understand, and to operate on. What then should I do and must I do, and you do too, in order to make the creative visualization process work for us? Clearly, it would seem that the very first thing we middle class, whatever that is, people must do is to discover exactly where we stand and where we are in regard to what we want on the physical plane. We have to pinpoint our exact position and know where we stand exactly. We must find exactly the things we want and find out exactly where they are in regard to our sphere of availability. We must find out exactly what things are missing in our lives and how these things stand in relation to our sphere of availability. To sum this up, the intelligent and accurate appraisal of your present life's position in regard to your wants and needs and desires is the first step in the right use of creative visualization. And the second is the accurate appraisal and understanding of these things in relation to your sphere of availability. It can be said quite truthfully that we middle-class people are the most difficult subjects for creative visualization work. We have many things on hand now, and many other things automatically coming to us. If we should start creative visualizations for something that is automatically coming to us, it would be a waste of time and effort. In all occult work, you have to look out for a situation wherein you use occult powers to accomplish something that could be accomplished in another, more natural way. For example, by using ordinary planning, you might find that you could trade something you no longer want for something you do want and need. To have done otherwise than this natural method would have been a waste of the art of creative visualization and a waste of time and effort. We must use good common sense and think hard of what exactly we should work for by creative visualization methods. we must consider the state of growth we are in and the state of growth our sphere of availability is in. Few people will demand too much of a beginner, so don't demand too much of yourself in the early stages of your work. Later on, when you have achieved some success in the work, you will guide yourself by the development of your sphere of availability. What is wrong with attaining your goal in several steps instead of one big hard jump? I will refer again to Mr. Ingles and his book. Mr. Ingles is the only teacher I have ever found that taught, in connection with creative visualization, a system of gradual growth. He called his idea creating a center from which to draw the things you want and need. Every other teacher that I read always strongly stressed the idea that in your visualization work, under no circumstance must or should you designate from what source your desired things should come. That idea never did appeal to me, because I am a natural planner and I like to know at all times where I stand and what I am doing. Mr. Ingles tells in his book a story about a woman who built up a center gradually. She's supposed to have came to San Francisco a long time ago. In some way, not explained in the story as I received it, this woman acquired a facility in the art of creative visualization, and she used it from the start to build up a gradual growth center. She first got a job through visualizing it. Then she got several promotions in the same place. Then she visualized herself going into metaphysical work, and after that she visualized herself receiving compensation worthy of the effort she had spent in doing work for others, and someone gave her a large sum of money in gratitude for work she did, etc. I will admit that this story does not follow the pattern as laid out by many other teachers. But it seems to me that this system of gradual growth is far more sensible than doing a lot of general visualizing without any idea of anything definite and not knowing if the thing desired is in your sphere of availability or not. But I will also admit that you should not, for example, concentrate thoughts on some person with the idea of forcing them to give you a chunk of money. Nor does it seem sensible to concentrate on getting things that belong to other people now. Nor should you visualize your rich uncle dead so you could have his money, etc. I really believe that these are the sort of things that the other teachers were thinking of when they said you should not designate where the visualized objects should come from. It would seem rather foolish in this day and age to attempt to designate from where your supply should come from exactly when there are so many unknown ways in existence and many more coming every day. And then again, in this day of multiple manufactured processes, it would seem silly to want the exact things others have. There's nothing that cannot be improved. Why should you want his car when a newer model would be better in all ways? So therefore, I cannot find anything basically wrong in building up a center of supply according to approved visualization methods, as long as you leave the channels open so things can flow into your center of supply, come from what source they may. I would suggest that you do not picture yourself doing work in exchange for things, as you might find yourself working more than you would like. You can start out at first by doing some kind of work, but you should shift your pattern quickly to doing work that you know you will like to do, and thus not seem like labor to you.
And now, a final word of caution from Ophiel about when this creative visualization process is not suitable as a primary solution.
I regret to have to warn my student readers that if you have gotten so far down the sphere of possession that you are in actual physical want for food and shelter necessities of life, this process of creative visualization is not for you now. It would take a student of terrific powers to instantly create things needed for you, and a beginner in this art could not do it. This process is too slow for that even under the best of circumstances. In the case of such dire physical necessity, to try to use this process of creative visualization would be like trying to grow a tree in a flood to get wood to make a boat to escape the flood. I wish I did not have to say this, but you must make allowances for the physical plane. If the arrival of this book finds you in dire need, you must be sensible and accept the aid of the government or other charitable or spiritual foundations for immediate assistance. When your immediate needs are taken care of, then come back to this book and work to make sure you never get into such a state again. For God's sake, combine inner spiritual knowledge with earthly common sense. The two are needed to make a good whole. The creative visualization mental operation is a true magical operation. True magical operations are things that are not too well known and understood. There has been no real expostulation of magical operations in books for students. And the main reason for this is, as I have said before, that people qualified to teach these things are few and far between. Because they received their training in secret schools under oaths of secrecy and cannot give them out to the interested people freely. Only a person like myself who gained these things through his own work, through hard years of striving and inner meditations and study, can give them out freely because I am under obligations to no one for them. Therefore, I am able to give you the former secret knowledge teachings freely. For heaven's sake, use them.
We would like you to think now about the life, goal, desire, situation, circumstance, or object that you wish to acquire. Please take time to do that. Now, this is very important. You don't have to think about how it will come to you exactly or limit it. But simply think of the first step now that is somewhat within possibility and will make life easier or better. Do not focus on it coming from any one particular person, as others have free will too, just as you do. Also think how dreary it would be to have a friend who has secretly decided that you are their supply source and keeps coming around to hint at what you can give them or do for them. Such a person becomes a tiresome and burdensome pest soon. We are learning to become masters, acknowledge the abundance and infinite resources of Source, and trust that what you need will come through the most suitable channels. Also, do not focus on doing certain jobs or trades specifically in exchange for what you desire. According to Ophiel, this may be necessary in the beginning, for example, to see more money coming in the form of a raise or overtime in your existing work. But as you continue with the process, leave it open and instead focus on doing things that you like and are good at, and following the opportunities and openings that arise in your life. Think of things that, even though are small, will consistently lift you up a rung to the next level. You don't have to know the next step beyond that yet. You only need to know your current sphere of availability and stretch at the edges to the next level where more becomes available. You keep doing this until you find yourself one day poised to ask for your Rolls-Royce or presidential bid or wherever your true desire leads you. Take a moment to think about what is in your sphere of availability. Also, keep in mind what Ophiel says. If you lack the basics such as food, shelter, and so on, seek immediate help externally from government or charitable agencies, or even family. Focus your efforts first in immediate survival. Also, there are many manifestation teachers who advise that you should not limit your goals or visualizations, that you should start with your wildest dreams and accept no limitations. We are aware that different methods have worked for various people, and that some, such as the above, have worked for the few. This text gives the general principles that work for the broadest number of people. Sometimes, these principles given here may seem less dramatic but work more reliably and in harmony with your current stage of growth and evolution. You can gradually work on increasing your sphere of availability until what seem like miracles become available to you. Over the next weeks, work on identifying your first manifestation, while of course completing the exercises with the elemental cards, starting with the Qabalistic Cross, the lesser invoking or banishing ritual of the Pentagram, and gazing at the Tattva card for that week. Follow the link in the description for that video. Next time, we cover a few of the next laws like the laws of limitation and binding. Be sure not to miss it. Like and subscribe to stay tuned. In the meantime, arise and awaken.